I was quite overwhelmed at the size of it, the number of machines, and the fact that you had a person here, a real live person, to supervise the work, and she was professionally trained, so that was impressive. She really does provide tips as to ways in which I can get better service out of the work that I'm doing here. Welcamp's made a big change this way. Before, I knew literally of 3 other people who were exercising because we exercised early in the morning, you know, and so I have no idea beyond that really how many people were there, but I'd be astounded to find it was more than 15 or 20, and now I find over 100 have signed up here. So there's been a big mood shift. Before, we who were exercising seemed to be regarded as, oh, those nuts over there who spend time working out, you know. And now everybody is feeling, gosh, I really better get into that, you know. They're getting some good out of it, aren't they, you know. So I think it's made a big difference that way, just in terms of the attitudes about the necessity of exercising in order to keep in shape. I would say that Welcamp has made it possible for me to feel like I'm part of a community of people who appreciate their bodies enough that they will do some exercising and spend time doing that in order to stay in shape. And I think it does so in a way that is entertaining as well as providing the necessities there for us. Welcamp also provides the kind of professional assistance so that we can have a personally tailored kind of program set up for us. It's a pleasant place to be. I really enjoy it here too. And the fact that they offer a cup of coffee doesn't hurt a bit.
I was finding a lot of limitation. I have a little ranch up in Taos, so I'm used to working with my animals and walking all day, but I was finding that I was having trouble bending over and touching the ground, picking things up. I was finding my arms weren't reaching up and around and back enough, and I guess it was just a feature of age, but it was getting quite frustrating, so I definitely had limitations. It's all changed totally. I can touch the ground perfectly. It's not hard to pick things up. I have a full range of motion, so I can function totally differently, and it affects my confidence and as well as my physical ability and strength. It also elevates my mood, so not that I'm ever very low, but it definitely picks me up, and I feel very happy. It's like having your own personal trainer, which is really special. It's exceeded my expectations. The fitness coaches are wonderful. They're all like a personal trainer, but they are friendly, supportive always, not too friendly when you want to work. They're knowledgeable, and they're like friends, and I'm very grateful for them. Yeah.
Well, I think the favorite feature I have of Welcamp is that they actually have equipment that I have not used before in a fitness program, because I've always done something, but I haven't really been able to have a comprehensive program because the trainers I had didn't really design the program properly. So as I see it, from my position as a layman, we're using all of the muscle groups and addressing the problems that affect us as we get older. I think Welcamp is one of the best programs I've ever seen for an aged population, not real old geezers, but you know, those are in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and even into the 90s. So it works for all of us, and we have people here in all of these age groups. Here at El Castillo, we have had a fitness center, but it was rather primitive. And it really didn't do the job that we needed to do, and as a consequence, it wasn't really used very much. But now, I not only get my program, but I get a courtesy cup of coffee, and I get to read the Wall Street Journal. The program is designed within the limits and capabilities of each individual. And not only that, we have a well-qualified personal trainer over here who observes our every mood and makes sure we're doing it right. Thanks to Welcamp.
I had a torn hamstring, and I had been in therapy for that. And I think what's happened with Welcamp is that I can walk further now, and I feel more confident. And so that has been a big improvement for me, especially being downtown and able to walk. We get in here, everyone's happy. You're meeting people that you don't meet otherwise, because if you eat lunch, they're at dinner. If you eat dinner, they're at lunch. We have a community that we have formed here in the gym or in Welcamp that wouldn't be otherwise. I've seen people who are walking better, who are getting around much better. And I think that it's encouraged a lot of people to come into Welcamp that wouldn't have otherwise. The gym, I guess you'd call it, that they had before was considerably smaller and didn't have the machines. And people are not worried or afraid they're going to get hurt because they have been trained, first of all, and there's always someone here to help them. I was never a person to exercise regularly, and it has been such an addition to my life, because I now come in on a regular basis and I enjoy it, and I couldn't say that before. It was just not a regular part of my daily routine, but it is now.
We had training at Welcamp in Minnesota for almost, I think, a full week. Classroom, hands-on in the fitness center. And I think we had a day or two where they actually came here and met with us on other topics as well. So I felt great and prepared. We felt excited to open. There was no nervousness. We just couldn't wait for the residents to come in and start using the equipment. The residents are constantly telling me how happy they are, how they love the facility here. You know, the ones that were skeptical in the beginning even admitted that they were skeptical, and they just can't get over it. And they laugh because they said that our CEO said it was going to be a social place, and they thought, there's no way I'm going to come in and exercise and then I'm going to leave. But they don't. They stick around, they talk, they plan dinners and lunches and who's going with who. And it's overall so great for not only their muscles, but their minds and their spirit too. We have lots of women who are wonderful. But one woman came for orientation, and I said to her, now just make sure you touch base with me tomorrow and let me know how you feel, because it was the first time we did a workout together and she hadn't used machines before. And she came down, we weren't even open yet, and she knocked on the door and she said, I know you're not open yet, but I just have to tell you. She said, I felt so good last night, and I normally have to wear support hose. And I woke up and I had chicken legs this morning. So all the swelling had gone down. She was so excited to tell us and couldn't wait to get started. And now she comes in daily, and she also makes sure she lets us know if she can't be here. She always calls us and lets us know so that we don't worry about her. This is my first job being full-time in a long time. And people ask me, you know, how do you like your job? And I say, I don't like it. I love my job. I don't notice that I'm here on a full-time schedule. The day flies by. And there's not one bad part of my day. I mean, maybe if there's no one in here, and that very rarely happens. But the residents, they share their stories with me, fitness related or not. They're excited. They're feeling better. They're doing things they haven't done in a long time. They're using equipment that they've never used before, and they miss it when they don't get to come in. Another highlight of my day is during our follow-ups. We do a 30-day follow-up, a 3-month follow-up, a 6-month follow-up. We haven't got to the year yet, but we are doing 6-month follow-ups. And I love sitting down with them and showing their progress. We print out a report so they can actually see their weight loads from when they started to where they are now. And that's when they really start to tell me, well, yeah, now I'm using the stairs and you know, I feel so much better. I don't have that hip pain I used to have anymore. So sometimes if they're not opening up beforehand, they will share that on those follow-up visits. The part I love about this job is the fact that most of these residents have never used a fitness center before. And when they come to Welcamp, they have us here to help them out. And we do 3 orientations with them. And they always say, oh, I'm not sure if I'm going to remember this. And I said, it's okay, because that's what we're here for. People are working out that haven't worked out before. They understand cardio. They understand strength training and when it's important to do it and when it's important to rest the body. They understand the experience that went into the protocols. They know that people were not just throwing something in, and they actually studied the results and found what was best for us. They know the importance of flexibility and stretching and balance, and they know that all of this will help them continue their independent living longer. Anytime I have a question, I can call.